So for our next keynote, we have the pleasure to welcome Sylvie GOULARD, second Deputy Governor of Banque de France since January 2018. In her portfolio, she manages international issues, research, public financial education, and climate-related financial stability issues. The Banque de France is currently holding also the Secretariat of Network for Greening the Financial System, that is coordinating work between the 60 central banks and supervisors and committed to tackling climate-related financial risks. She served as member of the European Parliament and also was political advisor to Romano Prodi during his time as president of the European Commission. So can you please launch the video, please? Thank you.
Thanks, Hervé. Thanks, Yannick. I'm glad to be here today with you for this special session on payments. Even I regret not to be with you at Paris Europlace. Well, I would like to highlight two paradoxes before I come to the projects we are trying to push at the central bank level. The first paradox is that even though consumers are asking for modern electronic payment methods, they still heavily rely on cash. And for central banks, we have to find to strike the right balance between these two demands. We have already experienced in the last years an increased use of digital payments, and of course the last months with the lockdown, with the increase in e-commerce, increase in payments with cards in all shops, has shown that the society is really going for more digital. But of course, a large majority of population still uses cash, and we have to provide cash for daily purchases. And we know, and we have experienced recently in France a new attack in Lyon some weeks ago, so we know that we have to be careful to give the choice. For the central banks, this is a very important objective, is to make sure that people still have the choice of the means of payments, but at the same time we need to invest a lot in digitalization. We also know that, of course, according to the segment of the population, the youngest might go digital quicker than the elderly, and in any case we want to provide security. The second paradox is that there is a growing tendency, there is a growing pressing need for territorial anchorage of decisions, control, supervision. So we are more and more actors of global means. We are using social networks. They don't know any border. And at the same time, people want more security, and they want to be sure that the rules that are adopted, and this is perfectly legitimate in their country or for us in the European Union, can also be respected. And that's the reason why we need to have control on data-driven companies, the tech giants that are based outside Europe, and we want to keep the flows of information, the friendly use of these instruments, but at the same time control their activities, make sure that the data privacy rules of the European Union are respected. And that's the reason why we are facing this paradox of more global, more European jurisdiction. In facing all these challenges, what can central banks do? We are experiencing what we could call the revenge of the payment sector. The payments, it was a little bit the pipeline. It was not the front office, it was more back office. And now we observe that many questions linked with our sovereignty, our willingness to control what is happening in our countries, have to do with these pipes. The European Commission has produced a digital finance package recently, and we will see how the question of localization can be combined with a European rule of law. The central banks are actually working, they had already put in place the TIPS, the infrastructure. Now they are looking at the project. Does it make sense to envisage for Europe a central bank digital currency? We're at the beginning of the process, but we consider, and the Eurosystem adopted recently a first document, that it is important to look at it and to provide some study to discuss also with the society to preserve the trust in the currency, but also to give the European citizens all the technical innovation we can provide. And that's, of course, suppose that we can keep our stability-oriented mandate using other tools. So I wish you the best in this session. You have excellent specialists who are going to take the floor, and I hope and I'm sure it will be a nice discussion. Well, Hervé, I appreciate very much your question, because we need to put ourselves in a listening mode, as the Federal Reserve of the US would say. A currency is only, for the value of a currency has to do with trust. So we have to make sure that the public at large really understands what we are talking about when we envisage, and once again, the decision is not taken yet, a digital euro. Trust in the institutions ruling the framework, trust in the way we could work together with the public at large, but also with the banks. There are legitimate questions on data, on privacy, on banking intermediation, on the economic impact of this currency. So that's the reason why this consultation is very important for us. It will be done with an open mind. We will listen to what the people have to tell us, the citizens, the stakeholders, the industry, and of course the elected people in charge that ultimately will take also some of the decisions necessary to go along this road.